Hello and Assalamu alaikum to everyone. My name is Fawzia Parveen and today I am going to present the topic Barriers to Effective Classroom Communication. But before coming on the topic, first I want to thank Dr. Syed Hayat Basha sir, Assistant Professor EMU Center Malappuram, for giving me this opportunity to make the presentation on this topic. So let's start. Our topic is Barrier to Effective Classroom Communication. Here we can see there is two words, barrier and the other one is communication. So first, let's understand the meaning of barrier and communication. So barriers is something that causes problems or make it impossible for something to happen. And communication is a process that involves sending and receiving messages through the verbal and non-verbal methods. Communication is a two-way means of communicating information in the form of thoughts, opinions, and ideas between two or more individuals with the purpose of building and understanding. Now we will see communication barrier in the classroom. Communication barriers in the classroom make it difficult for a student to get the most out of their education. Some teachers fail to create engaging lessons and struggle to connect to their students on a one to one basis. Students with unaddressed language or speech difficulties often have trouble communicating with their teachers and classmates. Personality differences and peer pressure add to the mix, making some classroom interactions feel awkward or forced. So we have understand the meaning. Now we will see its types. So there are different types. We'll discuss one by one. First, we will discuss about the listening barrier. So what is listening barrier? Effective listening and active listening is one of the most important factors in classroom communication, classroom activities, and classroom interaction. Take the time to listen to what the other person is saying. When someone is speaking, you should not be thinking of your next response. Negative emotions may occur when certain words or body language is used. Now, the other one is perception barriers. Perception may be a barrier to effective communication in the classroom. Different people may receive and hear the same message but interpret it differently. Paying attention to detail is also important. Important aspects can be missed by not covering a subject in depth. A teacher should also learn to focus on both positive and negative aspects of a conversation. The other one is oral barriers. Communication barriers in the classroom may exist if oral communication is not clear. The communication process only occurs when the listener hears and understands your message in the way you meant for it to be received. So the third one is cultural barrier. Cultural differences can be a barrier to effective communication and communication skills in the classroom. It is possible for both a teacher and a students to have predisposed ideas about behavior based on what the other person's culture is. Messages are often misunderstood if they are delivered in a way that is unfamiliar to the student's culture. It is important to dispel assumptions or biases based on cultural difference in a classroom. One of the major causes anxiety. One of the major emotional causes of communication barriers is students' anxiety. If a student is anxious and unsure, they are less likely to speak up in class. This is true even in situations where a student doesn't understand what the teacher is saying and needs clarification. The next one is language. Language is the primary way of communication, thoughts, and ideas. If the teacher and the student don't speak the same language, this can be a major communication barrier. If the teacher speaks English and the students are most English as second language students, then there will be communication problems since the students may not understand everything the teacher says. Other one is daydreaming. A common barrier to effective communication occurs when learner daydreams, that is, when he turns away from the flow of classroom communication and dwells upon his own privately recall understanding and experiences, which are more preoccupying than those which are identified with classroom activity. Students are failed to keep their full attention in the classroom. So the next one is disinterest. Disinterest arises among the students due to the lack of available teaching materials, teaching system, and efficient teacher in the classroom. To eradicate distance, teachers should include some motion pictures, films, modems, film strips, charts, and many other things. Variety in classroom procedures and teaching materials usually heightens the interest and enthusiasm with which pupils approach their work. The last one is physical discomfort. Student may feel discomfort due to the insufficient necessary internal and external equipment in the classroom like fan, light, air, etc. For these reasons, they may lose their interest to hear the lecture of their teachers. This type of barrier should also be considered in a classroom for proper communication between students and teachers. Now, I hope you people understand and what is barriers to effective classroom communication, like barrier for the teacher as well as a barrier for the students. Thank you so much, and again my special thanks to Dr. Sayed Hayat Basha sir. I hope this video was fruitful.